Well, hello, 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 and welcome to ZRush Live. I wonder what we're gonna do first. Maybe get everyone to let me know in the comments that you can hear me and see my screen okay. And if we get some people saying that from YouTube and from Twitch, then we can continue on with the rest of the proceedings, I guess. And yeah, so just let me know in the chat. Also, like, subscribe, do all those internet things, and leave a comment if you have any questions. You can leave them in the comments, or you can ask them during the during the stream. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get going. All right. So let's see here. Still have this going. There we go. All right. So we're still working on this guy. Did a little bit of work offline, not much. Kind of giving him these kind of little packets here on the belt, which we'll put some stuff on, and did a little bit of work on the helmet, not that much, but did some renders. So I'm starting to kind of think about materials and all that kind of stuff. So let's bring up a couple of things here and see what a render will look like real quick before we move on with the modeling. All right, I'm still here. I'm just waiting for this render to happen. As you can see here, it says rendering in progress. This is using Redshift. So I haven't really applied any materials to this, except I did do a emissive material on this ring around his eye, its eye, and did assign the material to the mask. And here I'm just kind of getting an idea of what to do, with some of the final composition. And I don't want to do too much work inside here if I'm not going to see it. So I'm just kind of doing some tests there. Okay. All right. So, and if I want to see that, of course, I can always go back to render and go to render recall. And I'll go through some of these recalls so you can kind of see some ones that I did. I think this was the last one right here. And then I've been doing some renders throughout the day. And you can kind of get some ideas of some of the journeys I was on. Here I was trying kind of a, transparent material, didn't finish it. And yeah, so just kind of doing some ideation, just messing around. So this kind of gives you some ideas while I was working earlier. Let's bring this all the way to the last one, which is this one, and it looks good. So I'm going to just go ahead and get going. Again, if you have questions, excuse me, ask them during the stream and I will answer them for you. That's one of the benefits of watching this live. And if you have questions afterwards, you can leave them in the comments. If you're watching this not live, you can leave them in the comments. All right, so here I separated out this bottom part of the helmet and did a little bit of work on it, added some details. But I'm going to do the same thing to this part right here. And let's hide this mask. It's a little bit complex because if I solo this out, I did chop off this bottom part, but you can see there's some inside parts that are still showing up. So I'm just going to bring that back. And to find out which parts are showing up, I'm just going to use paint. So I'm just going to paint, let's see here. All right, I think the gradient is still on this. Let's solo it out. I'm going to fill object. Let's see, do I have RGB on? I do. So I'm just going to fill object with that color, and then I'm going to choose a lighter color. Yep. And let's see if this works. Nope, it's going straight through. So I don't know if there's a way to do this without, and it's fine if it does. I mean, I just am weary of the inside parts and I don't care really about the rest. I probably should tear this thing back here apart too, but let's see what we got here. So yeah, paint this part. That's all going to be extruded, and then I think this part right here. If I need all this. So here I'm just kind of choosing which parts I want to extrude out and have be a separate piece. I don't really need this back part, but probably would be better if I had it. Actually, I take that back. All right, let's bring everything back. I don't really need this part right here. I mean, I do need a little bit of a border, but anything I don't need, I'm going to get rid of. I definitely do need this part. Let's see here. Yeah, I need this part right here as well. So yeah, I'm just basically painting the areas where I want to create a helmet from. And then on the inside, I don't know how much of this matters. Let's see here. There's some on the inside here that does. Okay, and I think I've got that painted in. For now. All right, so I'm going to keep this helmet, but what I'm going to do here is just go in and mask by color. So here I'll just go to the mask menu, just right here, and we'll say mask by color. Where are you? Down here, mask by poly paint, and we'll just pick this color right here, and okay. Right, so whatever we painted white is going to be masked, and then let me see something here before I do that. Am I using any of that part? I am. Yeah, I need this part right here too. So I'm going to clear the mask and paint this part as well. Okay, so all this is going to be part of this helmet, and I might as well just, I don't know, attach this somehow. I'll attach it for now. And all this will be kind of obvious as to what I'm doing in a minute here. Right, so. Okay. All right, one more time. Mask by color, poly paint, drag and drop to here. Okay, and now that's masked, and now I'm just doing the last kind of final check here. I'm just going to unmask some parts just because I don't think I need a mask here. I don't need this geometry. I'm kind of trying to see where it goes. Maybe mask a little bit down this way. Definitely mask this. All right, let's see what we get. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my Extract Pro here. Extract Pro Plus Maximum. Okay, so this is going to generate a zero meshed version of this for me, just this part of the helmet. All right, turn double on, and let's see what this looks like. All right, so I'm going to hide that previous one so I can see what I've got. And I've got something like this, which is okay. And if I turn polyframe on, this is all kind of good base level topology. Did a good job with these circles here. So that's good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to another view here. And in this view, I'm just going to enable these two things. Well, actually, let me just disable everything else and just enable these two things. All right, so in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add subdivisions and then project it onto what's below. Oh. There we go. Subtool, not extract, but project. Project all. I don't want to project polypaint. So there we go. Right, and then divide it one more time, do one more projection. Again, no. There should be an always no there as well, but there isn't. Okay, seems like no questions. Quite a few of you watching. Thank you for being on with me live. Right, I'm just going to do one more projection here. And one more division and one more projection. Right, I'm just going to solo this out to see what I've got. It looks like I've got just about as good detail as what I had before. Maybe one more subdivision level. I'm seeing a little bit of jaggies over there. Project all, no. I just want to do this until I see no kind of jagged edges from about this distance. I think we're good. And just to kind of test it out, I'm just going to do a brush stroke with Damien Standard on it, and that's kind of okay. All right, so I think we're good here. So I can continue to work on this one, and just for kicks here, I'm going to give it a dynamic subdivision with no smoothing, but a little bit of thickness. And I'm going to offset it so it starts from where it was before. And if I do unsolo this, okay, this is looking pretty good. You can kind of tell how well it's kind of conforming by, you know, how this looks. And we are good with that. So we're going to go back to our normal view here and enable everything except that and see. All right. So this helmet is looking good. So now I just got to sharpen some features here. I know the topology is going to work with me. I no longer have this as Dynamesh. Okay. I think what happens is, let's see how many polygons is this. All right. So what happens is if I got dynamic subdivision on, it gets a little bit slow. So I'm going to turn that off for now. Yep, it's a little bit better. All right, what are we doing here? Again, here I'm just bringing out the details and creating more of a, and for this I'm also going to use a different material. I'm just going to pick one of these materials here. Let's choose metal 1, load, and I'm just going to load another material that I have. And these are just materials that I've made just for kind of visualizing metals and whatnot. So let's just do one that is this one. Let's start with this one. So this is kind of a good one that just kind of gives me a little bit of a metallic hue to it and accentuates the it accentuates the specular so I can kind of see it better. And I'm going to choose, I don't know if this one's working for me. I'm going to choose a different material from that same menu here. Let's try this one. Nope, this is way too reflective. This is good for catching, you know, to see kind of how things are going to reflect in it, but that's not what I need. I think there's one more that's going to be perfect for this. Oh, maybe I don't have it. All right, I guess I'll just choose one from here. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Material, I don't know why I didn't go that way before. Materials, and let's use one of the MAH materials. He's got some good ones in there. How about we do this dirty blue one, or see, there's one that's a little shiny. It's not bad. How about this one? Here, I don't need this many of these. Yep, that actually will work. I'm gonna try one more. Nope. 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 How about this one? One last one here. Probably going to end up using the one I started with, but I'm going to try a couple others. Here, let's do this one for kicks. And then we'll change it to something else if we don't like it. Right. Right, so here I'm just kind of bringing out this piece. I'm just using the standard brush just to kind of accentuate an edge there, make it more prominent. Now, I don't know if I'm going to pull anything out here or if I'm just going to keep these all as one piece. I think this kind of will work as just one piece. This part at least. And then this ear part as well looks like it needs to kind of conform to a plane. Let me see what it looks like. So here I'm just refining it, kind of getting into that tertiary surface shape. Need to figure out how this transition here happens. The exact thing I did, but in positive. I could probably even bring it all the way to here. Here we go. So let's see what happened this week. I'm reading a lot of friends of mine are getting laid off from companies. I don't know what is going on, but it seems like a lot of game and tech companies are laying off a bunch of people. All right, we got somebody from Brazil, and then we got somebody looks like is asking questions. 2 question marks. I don't know what that means. All right. Again, here I'm just kind of making sure the surface is shiny and good and cohesive. And again, you know, I don't need it to look perfect, but I do need it to have the definitions of what I need here. And I still haven't added any alphas or anything, but it's better to just kind of get this stuff sorted out and slap in a morph target after that, and then start putting in the details. I think this could use to just be, not have that hard angle. And again, I'm doing this independent of the rest of everything just because I want that clean surface on its own, and then we'll do whatever needs to be done with the other surface. All right, so this is still kind of a little bit confusing over here, so I need to figure out how to make it work. Yep. Maybe it kind of comes out a little bit like this, and then has a little bit of an indentation this way. Still using my Sense Labs pen display and still loving it. All right, so that line kind of flows better now. All right, let's see what this looks like with the rest of the model. All right, so there are certain areas where I'm spending a lot of time where it's not even going to be visible, but that's fine. I think it just kind of, if I have the flow, then I can, it will decide how I work with these other pieces better too. All right, so this looks like it could use a little bit of a, I'm just going to use shift here. It's way too deep. Now the other question I had was whether or not I should separate this piece out. So let's see. First of all, let me kind of dig into it, separate it out this way. Yeah, having the pen display makes this kind of stuff a lot nicer. You can just kind of draw right on top of it. Right, let's see. Some questions. Yeah. You mean the Ludens? Of course. Do I work professionally? I do. And then prop art. Okay, sure. That's smart. There's a lot of props that are needed in games, so. And Blender is great. I tend to use it as well. Using it more and more as time goes on. I'm amazed at how prolific Blender is, and I think it's just going to take over at some point. I think the newer generations really like working with it. So it's going to be interesting to see how things develop in the next few years with that. All right, this thing kind of looks like a bone at the back of his head. So I'm going to see if there's a way I can break that. And here I'm just adding some tertiary detail just to kind of see if this will do it. I think cutting it would make a difference. Nope. How about this? Nope. No. Nope. I think it's there to stay. Let's see if inflate can kind of give it a nice little differentiation. It's kind of funny because with this material it almost feels like I'm working with solder. All right, that's good. And now I'm just going to separate this piece out. Again, just by masking it. I'm just going to solo this out, so that's all I'm working on. All right, so now the mask that I have here, the edges are blurry. I'm going to use this other mask that I made, which has harder edges, like this. Hello. Oh. So it'll be easier to just kind of get more of a border here. Okay, so this is subdivided 5 times. I'm going to go all the way down in subdivision here. Maybe a few more up higher. This is good. And I don't know if this Extract Pro will work with this low of a resolution. Let's see if it does. Okay, let's go in 3. I think that'll be good. All right, let's see what we get. All right. Extract Pro Plus. All right, yep, it gave us something. And let's take a look at it. Solo, polyframe. All right, I don't need this outside loop, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Delete poly loop. Right, let's get rid of this one too. There we go. Right, and then there are some on the bottom here. I don't need this one. Hopefully this one. Just a little bit of folding in on itself here. Let's turn double on. But easy enough to fix. All right, so that's good. And now, notice here, as I'm smoothing this out, the edges are not getting smooth, and that's fine. There's a way I can make them get smooth, but it's fine for now. And what I'm going to do is just kind of get these to be as kind of coplanar as possible. Right, and then just add some group loops around here just to smooth it out. Group loops, let's do 3. And very little polish, no triangles. Let's do it. There it is. So that kind of created a little bit of a smoother edge for me. And then what I'm going to do here is something else, which is kind of create a lip for it to kind of look like it's going inwards. So I'm just going to go here to an edge again, select an edge, and in edge mode, I want to extrude. And let's extrude a perpendicular angle. Let's see. And also, let's do it with the entire mesh border. Let's see what that look like. All right, here we go. Something like this is good. All right, that works. And then let's add some edge loops here. Right, and then let's just smooth PG this guy. So, deformation, smooth by groups, or polish by groups. Okay. And I just want this kind of corner here to just have a bit of a lip, but not be sharp. So I'm just smoothing that out. Let's see what we got here with the rest of the model. Okay. Really need polyframe on. I'm going to change the color of this thing, so I'm just going to switch colors here for a minute and fill this object with the color, and then switch colors back so it's a little bit darker so I can kind of see what it is and where it is. And I'm just going to do this to it and just move it into where this part is, and this is going to give me the illusion that it's a separate part. What is going on here? All right, so I think the problem with this is it's just this, which is easily fixable, and just slap it down, go straight, yep. There. All right, see there's some questions. I'll get to them in a minute. Or comments, I guess. Questions, I don't know what it is. All right. Okay. All right. What I like about this material is that if you have low res, it kind of shows it to you. So here I'm just kind of getting this to fit in this low res state, and then once it does, then I will up the scale or up the resolution. Do that right now, as a matter of fact. And here we have it. All right, I think these pieces are coming in together. I need to put something in here. I'll figure something out. Just kind of give it a little bit of smoothing. There we go. Nice. All right, so let me switch back to some kind of basic material here. And up the resolution of this helmet back up. And let's just pick like a plastic material, simple plastic here. Let's do a render, see how this is coming along. Kind of do the back part too here. All right, it's looking good. It's still a little bit, it's still a little bit soft. Let's see how this transition is over here. And these renders are happening definitely pretty quickly. So it's a good idea to kind of see if these kind of edges that I put in are working okay. All right, this is okay. This needs work. You can see here, it doesn't look like it's hard surface. It looks a little kind of soft. So let's do that first. Pick this one and going into the move brush with AccuCurve on. Just matching this a little bit more. And then I'll just give it a little bit of an edge. Like so, with just Damien Standard, and then run one across this way. I think before I do that, let me adjust this. Now I can straighten that out pretty easily just by, I'm just going to mask this for now because I don't want to affect anything else. The angle I have it with is making it difficult. I'm going to do this first and then just maybe just a tiny bit more. Oh. There we go. And then just get the right angle for this and then just drop one of these guys on it. Straighten it right out. So basically I'm just using the clip brushes to do this clipping. She'll straighten it out and then maybe do one this way. It's always better to build these things up than to just do a big, intake of it. Right, and then let's see here, one more. Okay, let's Let's see what this gives us. Right. I'll dig into it with H-polish. All right, so it has a little bit of an extra lip here. I don't know if I want that or not. Let's see what it looks like without. Hopefully you guys are seeing what is happening here with, and also I think I'm just gonna do this like that. How was it before? Maybe just this part right here. All right. Okay, so I like the transition of this side. Now I got to work on the other side of it. And to make life a little bit easier for me, I'm going to pick this piece and turn on its color. I think I have a darker color for it, but let's make sure. Nope, I don't. Okay. Switch color, fill object, switch color. Okay, so now this just has a little bit of a darker color. I can see it better. Let's work on this part of that transition. Oh, I'm still on this piece. Here we go. Of course, this kind of stuff happens, you know, probably CAD program or something was used to make this thing, so I'm trying to simulate as much of a hard surface as I can. Here we go. All right, so that looks like that's kind of a fit, and I'll put in some tertiary details that'll kind of help cement it in. And I kind of like how this is going in a bit in here. So there's like this little bit of a lip. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, I don't know if I want to play into that or if I want to pull that corner out. Let's start with pulling it out, seeing what happens with it that way. I think this looks a little bit more natural. Again, I'm trying to create that sharp corner. Here we go. All right, so that looks like it's fit in just fine. Then I could do some other things with this bottom part. Again, it's not really that visible, but I can, just for kicks here, maybe hit this with a little bit of an inflate. Let's see if that does something cool. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a bit too much. There, okay, so that's good, that's done. This part is done. So I want to put a piece in here that I'm kind of thinking about. So I don't know if I want to use a kit bash part or if I want to make something. For now, I'm just going to kind of make something, do a makeshift piece. Create the space for it. In here. All right, and again, I'm just going to use my masking to indicate that I want a piece that will go kind of here like this, maybe like that, kind of plug into this little tube over here. All right, there's more comments. Just a second, I'll be on in a second here. All right. All right, I'm going to do a little trick here with masking. Solo this, zoom in. Okay, so I don't need to have this back part masked anymore. Oops, did exactly the opposite of what I wanted. Here we go. And with the mask here, I'm just going to go ahead and blur it a few times and then sharpen it. And that gives you more of a definitive shape. I'm going to blur it some more, sharpen it some more. Maybe something more like this. Again, blur, sharpen, and that basically gives me the shape. And let's see what that looks like. That looks okay. And yeah, so I'm just going to extract that piece out. Extract plus, and that just was going to give me this piece right here. And then I'll just give it some thickness with dynamic subdivision. I just want a decent amount of thickness here for it. Maybe something like this. And apply. All right, so now I just basically have this piece, and I don't know how, yeah, it's pretty dense. Okay, let's just geomesh it at half a few times here. And I don't think I need these polygroups just now. I'm just going to remove the polygroups. And I just basically created this kind of blobby piece here that I'm going to shape into something that is going to go in here. All right, so again, move brush with AccuCurve. Turn polyframe off so I can see what this is looking like. All right. So Darussimon, you're asking about how much of it I don't import anything. I generate most of it in here. I mean, I do import some kit bash pieces, like this piece right here is a pipe I imported. But you can watch the kind of the beginnings of this, and you can see how much of it is just completely generated within ZBrush. So yeah, I tend to use ZBrush for as much as I can without having to go outside. I really like staying in ZBrush. And most of the retopo that I need to do, I mean, unless it's for like a, you know, a game or something like that where I need to really work on the topology, I don't really worry about it too much. Zero Mesher, not Zero Mesher, UV Master, not UV Master, I'm sorry, what am I saying? Zero Mesher does pretty good for what I need most of the time. And sometimes when I really need to do something in detail, I just shoot it over to Maya or Blender and kind of fix it there and bring it back. But those days are getting less and less. I'm starting to really kind of be able to do everything here. I wouldn't say they're completely gone. I still do need to go to Blender. I still need to go to Maya. But like I said, I'm trying to do that less and less. And it's not because I don't want to. It's just, you know, when I'm working, I kind of want to keep the flow going and without having to launch yet another program. Remember how that program worked. Which, I mean, I've got a lot of muscle memory around Maya. Blender, not as much, but getting there. And definitely have a lot on ZBrush. Okay. All right, let's see what that looks like. It's good. All right, so I wanted this to do something to the silhouette. So I'm going to try just hacking at it this way. All right, there it is. And I'm just going to add one more subdivision level here to get a little bit more detail-y with this piece. And I'm going to try and see how this would be if it was just kind of shoved in here. Let's play an angle here that's already done. Maybe this angle. No. I mean, I can play that angle. Let me just play it here. Here we go. And one more this way. All right, so I think that looks okay. And then let's try using inflate here to see if I can get a too much. All right, I think that looks good, more or less. And then I'll use some alphas to kind of give it some more definition. All right, I'm going to see if I can do this trick again, see if this works. Yep. So just kind of doing the same color as this. Trying to see if I can get a more interesting shape out of it. All right, that's good. and then let's see, what are the details? Still don't have what I want here. Right, I went a little overboard here, but that's fine. I can always bring this back. Okay, I think that's enough time spent on here. I'm going to move on to something else. Hello, Decent Games. Welcome aboard. So far, so good. So far, having a great Friday. All right, so this is just kind of that. And then let's look at these pieces right here and do stuff with them. Right, so this is kind of a longer piece. That. Let's go ahead and add some dynamic, no smoothness, but add some thickness to it, not too much. That's good. And I'm going to apply that, and I'm going to try something here, see if I can get an interesting shape out of this. I'm going to try doing where is it? Under clay polish, and I'm going to add an edge of maybe 1. Let's see what that looks like. I think the topology is going to be messed up, but I don't care. And I'm just going to zero mesh this. I don't know. I think, is there 2 of these? Let's go to half of this. Seems like there's 2 of these intersecting each other. I don't know how. All right, not a problem. Delete island. I think now we're good. Yeah, that was odd. I think when I did a mirroring, maybe it mirrored the left to the right and the right to the left or something like that, or I don't know how that happened, but not a problem. Back to normal. Okay. Give this a bit of an arc. And again, that's by tapping the Alt key with the clip curve to get a little bit of a curve on it. And then just drop that down. There it is. All right. And then if you tap the Alt key twice, you get a sharper angle like this for the inside part. Right, I don't want to really have this kind of right against here. So, right. All right, that somehow worked, which is fine. Zero mesh this one more time. Now this is going to be the same color as what's underneath. Right now it's a different color because it's a selected tool. So let me just kind of see what's going on here. Okay, so this little pinch here, the way to fix it is just with inflates. Like that. Then zero mesh it again. Not accurate. Thank you. All right. Mardi Artist has dabbled in ZBrush since 2000. NGL. I love tuning into these streams. Awesome. I don't know what you're saying. What's NGL? Yet a new acronym that I don't know. Oh, not gonna lie. Okay, thank you. Oh. I went through some training at some point in my life where they said if you use terms like to tell you the truth or not going to lie or something like that, when you use those kinds of terms, like, people will mistrust you because they think, well, if this person's saying he's not going to lie, does that mean he was lying before? So, you know, was he lying before and now he's saying not going to lie or to tell you the truth, or what's the deal? So I thought that was funny. To be honest, like, that's the other one. To be honest, well, okay, so you weren't being honest before, like, all right. TLDR. Too long, didn't read. Is that what TLDR is? That's what I know it as, unless it's got a new meaning. Too long, didn't read. I think that is basically the motto of people nowadays. I wonder how much of life somebody misses out on by not reading enough. Like they'll look at, you know, Moby Dick and go, TLDR. Lord of the Rings, TLDR. The Constitution, TLDR. Yeah, you know, why read when you can watch a YouTube video, or 50 or 100? I don't think if you truncate, you're missing out. I think eventually, you know, people will just be having conversations with acronyms. I remember when I used to work at Microsoft, we used to, you know, there would be so many acronyms coming at us at lightning speed. So we used to assume that people got paid, you know, people who were higher up got paid by the number of acronyms they knew or made up. So you might be onto something there. Just make up more acronyms and more stuff that other people don't know, and if they don't know what it is, that will make you seem like you know more. All right. Okay, I think I'm trying to make a kind of a bigger piece out of this, but maybe I'll bring in some tubes or whatever to take its place. Right now it looks like I'm just kind of treading water on that. So let me move on to some other pieces here. I'm going to move down to here. All right, let's see. There's new stuff in the chat. All right, convo. That's another one. Conversation is too long. Let's call it convo. Hey man, I just had a good convo. Oh, it's so funny. There's a Saturday Night Live skit that I really kind of find funny. It's a Timothy Chalamet one where he's like this rapper, and he's kind of meeting with a bunch of people that are, you know, have been established in rap or whatever, and he's kind of, you know, going over his thing. And of course, like, these people have made, you know, established rap, and they have all sorts of wise things to say or whatever. But of course, this kid's like come along, and he's like, you know, totally blown them away by the number of streams he has on his new song, and yeah, it was pretty funny. And then I think he did it once before with another actor. I mean, with an SNL member, with what's his name, Pete Davidson, and that was funny too. I think he just reprised that role second time. All right, so here I'm just basically pulling out this piece, and unfortunately it's pulling both the inside and outside part, which I don't really need, and another one too. So here I'm just going to select this one. Let's go back to the select rectangle, just select this little piece, Control A, and then delete hidden. And then what I want to do here is flatten this thing out with local symmetry and no dynamic. Right, so flatten this thing out completely like this. And this is kind of where, you know, that package is going to be, so that's fine, fits in there fine. Let me make it just a little bit smaller. And then I'm just going to make it into some sort of interesting shape. And again, you know, you guys have seen me create shapes in a lot of different ways. Sometimes I use this method, which is just basically pulling out of the underlying mesh and then doing some refinements. So that's one way I do it. And then you've seen me do it with Spotlight. So there's different ways. Oh. So if you have this kind of thing happen where, you know, you're hacking away at something and the other side's kind of giving you a hard time, you can always use this delete by symmetry, and then it's just one side, and then make sure to turn symmetry off, and then you know, just kind of can do this and then just mirror it over. A lot easier. All right, so about maybe there. That. I'm just going to mirror and weld this, or actually let me zero mesh it first, see what the topology looks like. That's okay. And I want this to be as flat as possible, and let's add some loops around it. Group loops, where are you? No polish, no triangle, 3 loops. Okay, and let's zero mesh this one more time. Okay, that's good. So that's kind of the packet or shape or whatever that he's going to have over here. And I'm just going to dynamesh this thing with some thickness. Offset it from here. It's too thick. And just about there. That's good. It's not straight, so a good way to do that is just again use the scale. You scale in Z so it's completely flat. Okay, yeah, so now you see it's got a nice smooth thing to it. It's a bit too, thickness is too much, so 0.002. 0.0025, 0.0035, 0.02, 0.01, that's good. Okay, so let's just apply that, and I've got this piece now. Let's mirror that to the other side. Now, what is going on? I don't know why it's deciding to here. Okay, so now I know where it is. Dynamic is, I'm just going to apply this. Okay, and on solo, I want to make this longer. But I want the other side to do the same. So if I turn on local symmetry, will that do it? No. If I turn dynamic off, will that do it? Still no. Okay, well, what is going on? Oh, I don't have symmetry on. That's the problem. Okay. That's it. So many symmetry options, so little time. All right, so I'm kind of seeing if this is better longer, like this. Maybe parallel to these guys over here. or shorter. I think shorter, maybe. All right. Hella Decent Games, are you still with us or did you leave? Oh, nope, he's gone. Or she, I don't know. All right, I think that's okay. Trying something completely different here. About this angle. A lot in my reference, I don't really have these pieces, so I'm just kind of making it up as I go. Like 2 sandwich loaves. All right. Apologies for today's stream being a little quieter. It's been a long week. A lot of cool stuff happening. So, and again here, I don't really need to be precious with this thing. I can still try kind of doing some other things to it. And read zero meshing it. Let's keep the groups same. Maybe not have this sharp of an angle over here. That's weird. Still dynamics? No. Why didn't all go all the way through? That is very strange. I think I might have activated something by mistake. Why is that menu not showing up? It's here in the brush menu as well. Brush. And not these ones, but not this one either. Yeah, here we go. B radius. That somehow happened without my doing it. Here we go. That fixes it somewhat. Okay, let's remesh this again. All right, that looks okay. All right, that's looking okay as well. Now, I don't want this thing to have any guns or anything because it's not kind of a battle thing. It's more of like a, I don't know, something else. So yeah, no weapons of any sort on this guy. Trying to see what the best way to do this would be. something like this. All right, that's good. That's that piece there. Trying to see if I can bring this forward a bit. Just a lot of refining today, kind of creating some of these other new shapes. All right, so we're looking okay. I don't think I'm going to do much else down this way. I think this is going to be it. So I just basically have to add a little bit more kit bash parts in here and some alphas, and it'll just make this thing shine. The helmet, I'll probably get back to it and refine some of these other kind of pieces that I just have as place marks over here. And one other experiment I wanted to try with this, I'll try now. And one more subdivision level. And this is just, I'm kind of roughing it in just to see like if it would look good with this kind of a pattern back here, and I don't think so. I think it's good as is. I like how this is happening here. I'm going to let autosave do its thing. See if there are new questions. No. Cool. Nice little group today for a nice cold January date. Right. Turn the Accu curve off and just kind of move this out just a little bit. There we go. It's getting there. Oh, there he is. He's back. Awesome. I killed Hella? Why did I kill him? want this to happen, but not as pronounced. Over here. Trying out some stuff here just to see if it makes it more interesting, and it seems to be working. Okay, good. Yeah, I apologize that today it's a lot about subtlety, just some subtle differences in the shape, just to kind of bring the shape out. It's good to do this every once in a while, just to kind of make sure everything is working well together. And again, I'm still kind of in the secondary form stage. Want to get into the third tertiary form stage, but don't want to rush in because there's still a bunch of things to fix that I think will come back to haunt me if I didn't address them first. Just transitions between the shapes and whatnot. I was showing this to a friend the other day, and he's like, well, this should be an operator in Call of Duty. And I'm like, yeah, that'll be cool. Infinity Ward / Microsoft / Activision / all the other 50 companies that work on Call of Duty. If anybody's listening, I would be more than happy to sell you this operator. The bone vents make all the difference. They do, right? It's kind of cool. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, exactly. You know, you're having Paul Atreides fighting what's his name from The Boys, Homelander from The Boys, and have a bunch of Halloween stuff. Have the guy from what's that show called? Evil Dead. So yeah, you're right. It totally makes sense to have this as well. All right, similar thing here. So this has multiple subdivision levels, which I don't know why. So I'm going to delete all the higher division levels here. Delete by symmetry. I can afford to do this now. I won't be able to later on, of course, but now I can do it, so I'm going to. And then later on, I'll have to mask and do all sorts of other fancy things. But where are you? Delete by symmetry. There you are. Okay, let's get this one to work, and then we can just mirror it around over. Oh, I've got this like million point symmetry thing happening. But yeah. It's totally, I mean, I won't lie, I did buy the Paul Atreides operator in Call of Duty just because I wanted to hear the dialogue, and of course there's like very little dialogue, so, but it's a cool looking model. I didn't buy it for cash either. I had like COD points from seasons and seasons of the Battle Pass. It's kind of, it's kind of funny that, I mean, for some companies, skins are how they make money, but Call of Duty still sells you a now $70 game, and still got to buy skins, and so by the time you're done, you're spending as much money as you would on a console. And I think my son said something really funny. He's like, I don't understand why people pay so much money for these things, because they don't see the operator. Other people see the operator, so they're spending all this money to get operators for other people to see, which was kind of a funny point. All right, Smear Weld. Oh, didn't want to do that. Local symmetry off. Mirror and Weld. Here we go. Yeah, much better. Yeah, so little by little, every time I refine these pieces, every time I go around, I find a piece, I refine it, and that's kind of how I tell my students to work, is that you can, so just working on one place all the time, just kind of leave it for a while and then come back to it, and then you'll get a fresh perspective, and also you'll get a better way of dealing with it with all the other new things that you've done. So now I'm kind of thinking this tube here could use to be a little bit thicker that way. So there it is. And yeah. So let's think about putting some things over here. So with this, I'm going to do a nifty little trick. And then I think I'm going to end a little bit earlier today. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go ahead and find some alphas. So comma here, go to alpha. It's going to take a little bit of a while to generate. Now I can't go to, I wonder how, if this will work. Control and drag. No, how about this? Nope. No, didn't want to do that. How did this happen? I didn't know you could have two of these open at the same time. How about that? Close. No. Oh, look at that. All right, let's make that one too. So I can have my alphas down here, and I can have something else up here. I did not know that. I just learned something new. Here we go. Thank you, ZBrush. All right, I'm just going to go into some of these alphas here. It's going to take a minute. I've got a lot of alphas. All right, finally. I wish there was a way to kind of, I don't see that, there's a 2 and a 3, kind of 2 would be better for this, but it's fine. I guess I can move ZBrush to another screen and make it bigger, but this is fine. And then here I'm just going to go into, let's see, whose alphas should I use? Let's try to see Kios Masons. I'm trying to find something circular that is interesting, maybe something like this. All right, I'm going to load up that alpha right there. And then I'm going to use a handy dandy feature in alpha called Make 3D. And let's add resolution of 512. that depth is good, double-sided is good, and let's just say make 3D. Okay, so that just made this part. So it basically took this alpha and made this part with it. Okay, that's good. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a different thing where I'm going to take this alpha and invert it, and then I'm going to do another one of these guys and see what that looks like. Okay, cool. I kind of like this as a socket, so I'm going to use that, and then let's see. So I'm just going to take this part here, copy it, and go into here. That's not what I want. Where are you? This one. And paste. Move this to the center. Resize. Oh, why is this masked? For some reason it was masked. All right, and then just do this. Do this. Actually, how about that? If I want to put it precisely exactly where I want it, this would probably be better to do it this way. I'm going to say solo. Let's unify this thing, and let's create an insert mesh brush with it. I wonder if I should hit it a couple of times. Let's see if this makes it better. Clay polish. Yeah, it does. There we go. Okay, that works better for me. All right. And what I want to do with this is I just want to go ahead and create an insert mesh brush with it. New one. There it is. And then just go back to this guy right here. Oh, what the heck? Oh, that's not what I wanted. It's this part? No, this part. Where is it? Where did you go? So I don't really need this subtool anymore here. I'm going to delete it. Okay. And then with my new brush, I'm going to select my helmet, which has multiple subdivision levels, but the thing underneath it does not. So I'm just going to select that instead. Right, there it is. And I'm just going to insert one of these guys right here. Like that. Right. Now I could use this thing embedded a bit more, so I'm just going to undo this and then do it one more time with the embedding. Here we go. Maybe a tad bigger. What's nice about doing it this way is it just kind of puts it along the normal, so you don't have to spend too much time kind of getting it at the right angle and everything like that. Okay, so this one's gone. Hidden. Go move over. Oh, it would be nice if I did a split unmasked points. There they are. There are these guys. Okay, perfect. Position it correctly. There we go. That works. Maybe too far out. Okay, that's good. And then what I'm going to do is go back to the thing that we created. Go to this thing. And I like this. Delete hidden, copy. Go back to, where are you? Here, and Paste. Solo. Okay, with this I'm going to do the clay polish thing again. Just to get some kind of nice sharp angles. That looks good. And I'm just going to go ahead and zero mesh this. Same number of polygons, detect edges, so I get sharp edges. Let's see if this does something decent. Uh-oh. Nope, it did it. And it's actually not bad at all. All right, so create insert mesh with this. And let's create a new one. Well, let's just append it. Why not? Okay. All right, so now I have two of these shapes in this one brush, and I should save this brush off because if something happens, I don't want to lose it. So here, save as. Round bits. All right, there it is. And so now I have these two, and I can go back to my, where are you? Actually, it's the same one. Okay, so since we have this, I don't need it. Delete hidden, or just delete. Right, and then bring these guys up. And what I want to do is I just want to create a negative version of this too, just to see what it would look like. Oh, this has 5 subdivision levels, really? Oh, okay, I'm pointing to the right thing. Here we go. Yeah, I thought this thing did not have that many subdivisions. Okay, there it is. It's at a bit of an angle. Let's just do it this way. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a version of this where these are going in instead of out. And I think I like that a little bit better. Now getting this aligned is going to be a little bit of a problem, but not too bad. All right, so I got both of them and I can choose which one I want later on. One idea I have is just to put like some tubes or something on top of this, but I'm not going to do that yet. All right, let's do a quick test render, see what we've got here. I'm just going to go and switch to, let's just switch to rough metal. It's always good to kind of try different things out. I'm also going to bring back the visor. I think we're getting close to time here. Unfortunately, let's see. Destiny sells you a $100 expansion each year. Wow, I didn't know that. And the cosmetics are extra. Wow. Well, you know, I mean, they need to be making money, I guess, these game companies. All right. That neon kind of thing around eyes really was a good idea. It's just an emissive material, and then I just put it behind this mask, which is some frosted glass that I made. So let's see what this render will be like. And then we will call it a night. All right, there we go. I think it's coming along. I think I'm really liking how this thing is developing. So yeah, let me do one more render here from kind of 3/4 view. Let's add some perspective to it. And then we'll just kind of end it there. All right, Soul Infernal. Yeah, that Make Alpha 3D is really cool, isn't it? So you can buy these alphas and then just kind of make parts out of them. It's the kind of stuff that I really like in ZBrush. Yeah, and Redshift is kind of a nice add-on. I don't know if any of you use Redshift with ZBrush, but it definitely makes it cool. So I've got a little bit of a, my render settings are, I jacked them up a little bit. So it's going to take a little bit longer, but it's still not bad. I can hear my fan going on in my computer. All right, here we go. All right, good. So I think I'm happy with how this is coming along. And I think I will leave it here. So with that, I wish you all a good night, morning, or whatever time of day you have over there. And Happy New Year again. We're almost kind of into the middle of it. And with that, happy ZBrushing, and we'll see you in a couple